One of the mistakes I see remote workers struggle with as they are trying to overcome that feeling of loneliness is to socialize more, join groups, or just get out and meet new people. And it's common nowadays to take this approach because that's what everyone is mainly suggesting, that that is the solution because they're consciously trying to figure things out when it comes to that feeling of loneliness. But making that assumption instead of really trying to sit and reflect on what the right approach should be can be costly because the reasoning is not always conscious. Jumping to conclusions regarding your feeling of loneliness as you're working remotely can be costly because there are different types of loneliness experienced by different people in different ways. So it may feel like you're trying your best to overcome that feeling of loneliness. And you have the right intention to take everyone's advice and push yourself to put yourself out there. But for some, it feels like an uphill battle because habitually feeling this way, feeling that loneliness, can suck the energy out of you. And despite your best effort, you're feeling burnt out, both emotionally and mentally. So much to the point where it's affecting your mental health. Now, don't get me wrong, these are great suggestions if your feeling of loneliness is truly a lack of not being around others. So, as you're trying to navigate the feeling of loneliness, you'll have to experiment. Do the trial and error process and see how that works for you. But what if it doesn't work for you and instead you become discouraged and confused as to why the feeling just keeps coming back? Wondering if something is wrong with you for feeling this way, feeling alone, and the confusion and the sense that you're lost. And that alone, it draws you into the isolation and makes your situation worse. Or what about if you feel lonely when you are around others? Or that anxiety feeling surfaces as you try to engage in conversations in an attempt to connect. For some of you, the feeling of loneliness may indeed go away. And if it does, then you know that you have found what works for you. And what you truly needed or what you were missing was to create that balance in your remote work lifestyle. Because it's a journey, especially if working from home is different than what you're used to. So if you were used to being in the office, then what you're going through could just be your nervous system adjusting to this new way of life. And you just needed to find and make some adjustments. But for those of you who have tried it all and the feeling just keeps coming back, then there's something that you're not consciously aware of that's running the show. And it's the reason why the lonely feeling keeps surfacing for you. So, in this case, where the loneliness keeps surfacing and all of your attempts to try to get rid of the lonely feelings is just not working, then the next step is to see what's going on subconsciously. Trying to heal without the subconscious reasoning is like pulling only the top of the weed, trying different attempts to just get rid of it, but leaving the root intact. And because the root or root cause is still working in the background, it can eventually take over the entire show and run havoc in your garden or your career or your life in general. There's nothing more frustrating than someone saying, "Oh, just get out there, go meet new people," without recognizing that sometimes there's a complicated story behind our default actions. And it isn't just that easy to say, "Oh, let me just go out and do what I need to do." Making a decision to find out what's at the root of that feeling of loneliness and exploring what's underneath, Digging deep and clearing out things at a deeper level will not just make you more productive at work, but you'll see how it can have a rippling effect in so many other areas of your life, your relationships, your finances, your mental health. And that's just to name a few. So if you're interested in learning more, feel free to reach out using my profile Calendly link. But in the meantime, if you're looking for an instant way to rid the feeling in the moment, check out my video on how to do that. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching, and until next time. And I wanted to talk about a saying that I heard. It goes something to the effect of you can't make change from the same place that the womb was created. And I feel like that's something that I wanted to just talk about a little bit further and explain. Because a lot of people think that, if I was, if I knew what I know now back then life would be so different. But the reality is that's not realistic. We grow and we change over time, and we develop new resources. So, for example, a friend of mine said, I'm tired of the way that person treated me. And, when I first met them, I should have just nipped it in the bud. I should have never let them treat me that way. And I'm not going to allow it to happen anymore. And, I should have known better then. Let's be happy for us being aware that a change needs to happen. We did the best that we could when we were younger. We used the resources that we had, the knowledge that we had, and we responded based on who we were at that time. And so now, as an adult, as an older person, we may notice things that we didn't notice back then. And we need to realize that we were two different people. And so it's not possible to have the knowledge we have today. We've grown through life, through experiences, and it's not possible to have all of that we have now, have it back when we were younger. It just doesn't work that way. We don't want to harp on things from the past, especially if they can be changed.